I talk about in the book, The Death of Adversity. And over the last 40 to 50 years, our inability to deal with adversity as human beings has been a massive, massive trigger that has caused more psychological, more mental, and more emotional challenges for people because we don't deal with things well. I don't know if you know this. We live in a world where 18th place trophies are important. We want to make certain our kids don't feel pain at all. We don't want them to go through any issues at all. Life got very easy where all you got to do is Amazon.com, something at Whole Foods delivered to your house, Grubhub, anything. You don't even have to wait at a grocery store for anything anymore. And because of that, we have become weak as human beings. All right, everybody, we are live and welcome to the Average Sucks show. This is Michael Bernoff and welcome as you're jumping on, joining us everywhere. Super excited that you're here. And one of the things I was going to tell you is no matter where you're clicking in from, watching this on YouTube, Facebook, inside the Average Sucks community, watching it on Leadership, wherever it is you're watching it, take a couple seconds, let us know that you're here and put a comment down below. It wakes up the people online, lets them know we're here. Also take a couple seconds and share this with people. This is a very, very, very important message that I'm going to be sharing with you. And why this message is urgent for everybody right now is I saw something that hit today and it hit me like bam. There is a 900%, and I am not a media person. I am not a news person, but I am a person that loves human beings and I love psychology and I love what's going on in the world when it's going great. And I found out there was almost a 900% increase in the world on people dealing with psychological challenges and psychological dilemmas in their lives, and people calling into help hotlines, people calling into the suicide hotline. It is inundated right now. So here's what I'm going to ask all of you to do is you're jumping on and you're watching this on Facebook. Let me know you're here. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and share with at least 2 people you care about. You can share this on to somebody else if you're watching this outside of our communities. I'm also broadcasting this on my fan page as well and on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, comment down below, I'm here. What this does, it wakes people up and lets us know that we are rocking and rolling. So I'm going to make this completely shareable right now for everybody that's watching at this moment so you can share with other people you care about. And this is going to be a very, very huge important. Let me make certain to get this squared away for everybody. Okay, it is good to go. So everybody can share this. It is open to the public. So you guys are going to be able to watch this. So welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. And if you could post down below inside of the group, the fan page version of this so people can share with people outside the groups they're in. That'll be important. Our team Bernoff is going to post that down below as well. So as you're jumping on, let us know you're here. Let us know what's going on. There's a little thing that you can click because we are using StreamYard. If you click it, it lets us sync up with Facebook so I can see who's actually making that comment. So welcome everybody. And this is a very, very important part of the Average Sucks community. And if you're not a member of the Average Sucks community, I believe you can go to michaelbernoff.com/community. And when you go there, you're going to get access to our Facebook group as well. Then we'll wind up adding you to the group. There's an entire group that is dedicated to living their life above average of what's going on in the world. So I want to definitely make certain we post that down below, michaelbernoff.com/community, to give all of you access to the Average Sucks community as well. So you guys have access to that as well. So as you're jumping on, we're going to get rolling here in about 13 seconds. Let me know you're here. Give me a like, give me a love, give me a comment. And more importantly, share this with somebody you care about. And the reason why is what I'm going to tell you is we as human beings have to be in charge of the media that's going on right now. And the reason what I love about Facebook, people say Facebook and YouTube, there's a lot of negativity out there. I'm also going to tell you there's a lot of positivity out there as well. Here's our chance to do our part in the world. And if you're brand new to watching me for your first time, I want to tell you that your news feed is a direct correlation of what you've been thinking, what's been going on in the world, what's been happening, what's been going on, and what you've been noticing. And the reason why it is so important for all of you to recognize why this is so urgent and why this is so important is what you watch, what you share is what you're going to get back. This guy, Mark Zuckerberg out there, he has this beautiful belief that whatever you liked yesterday, you're probably going to like tomorrow. So if you share positive, empowering things and you like and you love, you're going to get more of it in your feed. If you're sharing negativity and gossip and challenges, they will fulfill more of that for you. And the reason this is important for you to notice is Your feed is a direct representation of what you've been thinking about, what's been going on in your world. I recognize we work with a lot of entrepreneurs. We just got done with our call to action program. And what's so cool about it is I started getting amazing stuff, feeds, people doing incredible stuff, ads for incredible things, positive stuff. And the biggest reason why is it's where my brain has been and where our focus has been. So welcome everybody to the Average Sucks Show. And this is one of the most important, when I say important, necessary things for me to share with you. And if you don't know what's going on, I want to talk about statistics right now, what's happening in the world and what's been going on since this whole Corona thing hit. I'm going to tell you, January, we're treading along, things are going good, unemployment's down here, economics are up here, stock market's up here, people are rocking, stuff's happening. Little nervous energy comes February, boom, Corona for longer, boom, lockdown, boom, stuff's going on. And we have all these challenges that are showing up in our lives. And the one thing coming around the pike, which if you're not certain about it, is coming into dealing with all of us need to deal with, is something that was there prior, but it's getting extended right now between the media and everything that's going on in our lives right now is making this a really big challenge right now. And it's twofold that's happening. One is right around the bend is a massive, and this is not negativity right now, this is a necessary thing for you to understand, is a mental crisis issue. Now I'm going to tell you, we as human beings have been very, very ill-equipped. What I mean by that is, socially, we've had challenges over the last 20 to 30 years. For whatever reason, we have not been as strong as we needed to be as people. So when things come at us, when challenges show up, how you deal with that mentally and emotionally is based on how well you as a human being deal with adversity. I know in my book, Average Sucks, which came out right at the beginning of all of these challenges that are going on in the world. If you don't have this, you definitely want to get a copy of this book. I'll talk more about it later. Go to averagesucks.com. And the reason why is I talk about in the book the death of adversity. And over the last 40 to 50 years, our inability to deal with adversity as human beings has been a massive, massive trigger that has caused more psychological, more mental, and more emotional challenges for people because we don't deal with things well. I don't know if you know this. We live in a world where 18th place trophies are important. We want to make certain our kids don't feel pain at all. We don't want them to go through any issues at all. Life got very easy where all you got to do is Amazon.com, something, get Whole Foods delivered to your house, Grubhub, anything. You don't even have to wait at a grocery store for anything anymore. And because of that, we have become weak as human beings. I was on a really incredible training here this morning. At any point that you're watching this right now, my major recommendation to all of you would to be very, very clearly to pay attention right now is to share this with somebody you care about because I'm telling you, something I'm going to say is going to wake people up. So I'm sitting there on a training this morning that's already been viewed by thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people by a very, very incredibly successful man. Our good friend Steve Wallach introduced me in front of people. He said, Michael, there's a lot of people that are wishing 2020 away. He goes, what are your feelings on wishing it would just go away? What are your feelings on wishing that it would just be over with and, we'll get through June, July, and one day it'll be gone? The natural tendency of human beings is to wish our problems away. And I'm going to tell you one of the worst things that you could be thinking right now is just to hope, one day it's going to go away because the challenge is it doesn't go away. And the residual effect of what we're dealing with right now doesn't go away. And the reason I'm saying this is I'm going to backtrack real quickly. I said to Steven, I was at one of your events about, 7 years ago. And while I was there, I asked, how many of you have seen great leaders emerge in the last 10 years? And they're like, oh yeah, I've seen leaders, and they're announcing people. They were announcing people like Steve Jobs. They were announcing people like Oprah. They were announcing stuff. I said, no. I mean leaders like your Martin Luther Kings, your Gandhis, your people that stand up for what's right, of what's going on in the world. Where have those leaders been? And I realized nobody could think of one. Nobody could name one. No one could think of any leaders that have emerged in the last 10 or 15 or 20 or 30, 40 years. And then it dawned on me at the beginning of this crisis that this challenge that we're dealing with right now is that most people haven't realized why human beings aren't stepping up. And what I recognize is every one of those incredible leaders that I named a second ago, the Martin Luther Kings, the Gandhis, your Malcolm X, your people that stood up, wanting the world to be radically different than it currently is, all got developed out of challenges going on in the world. Right now, there are more challenges than ever before. And I'm also going to tell you, there's never been a greater opportunity for leaders to emerge, to serve and help this world and make it better than it is. but we're not as equipped as we should be, because most people, their issue right now is they're just wanting to learn how to survive. They want to figure out what they need to do. So we're sitting in the middle of a major challenge. And what the major challenge that I'm focusing, that I'm noticing that people are dealing with right now is one side of the coin. And tell me if you agree with this, folks. This is part of our podcast, but also we have the mechanism that we're live on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube and you're watching this on YouTube, take a second and subscribe. If you're here with Facebook, one of the greatest things you can do is mark the territory. And what I mean by that is like a part. If something strikes you like bam, like it with a like it with a love, go got it. That'll make somebody else watch that. That's the world we live in. So one of the biggest challenges we're dealing with right now is human beings went into January thinking we're on top of the world. The economy's incredible. We're going to get ahead. It's 2020. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to rock this year. I've got amazing goals, things that I want to pull off for myself. I'm totally thrilled about what's going to happen. And the challenge is, boom, the whole world got knocked over. So right now, you've got to figure out, how do you set your expectations as a human being? I want to think about this. How do you set your expectations as a human being right now with what's going on in the world? How do you set them? And what do you do? So one person, I'm telling you, is a large percentage of people that are saying, Michael, I got it. I understand the expectations. I've got to push myself so hard, and I'm going to really allow myself to go. Absolutely go. And what happens when you go, that's where the burnout comes in. That's where the challenge comes in the world. And that's what a lot of people are doing, thinking I'm just going to push my way through this. The challenge with pushing yourself through any issue at all is you're going to wind up being a person that burns yourself out, and you're going to set expectations for yourself that are massively unrealistic. I put in the image of this before we get started about unrealistic. There's a big difference between unreasonable and unrealistic. I'm going to ask you to be unreasonable with yourself based on what's currently going on, but we got to learn how to be realistic of what's happening. And the other side of the world is thinking, hey, here's where the mental crisis comes in, is I'm either going to push too hard, or I'm going to push not at all. I'm going to wait for it all to end. Or there's people right down the middle going, I don't know which side to do. So my challenge for you, and this is something I want to talk about right now, is what do you focus on and what do you do? So if you've got people in your life that are sitting on one of these three areas, either taking a nap right now going, what the hell do I do right now? Or there's somebody saying to themselves, I'm going to push, I'm going to go, I'm going to push, I'm going to go. You already know that person's going to burn out. And there's other group down the center doing a little bit of both, wiggling back and forth. Maybe you can post in the comments. Maybe you can notice, which are you? Are you right in the middle? Are you pushing hard? What is it you're doing? What's happening for you? So we've been equipping people for the last 90 days. We've been equipping people with getting them involved with our call to action program. And we've been focusing on one very simple word. And we've been saying to everybody out there that during times of crisis, during times of challenge, during times where people don't know what to do, there's only one sure thing that you can do as a human being. And that's a little something called coming out better. So my question for you is, are you planning on coming out better? Are you looking to get ahead? Or are you a person that's looking to survive? And I'm going to tell you, your outcome is going to be very different. I am telling you, there's people looking to survive right now, and there's people looking to get ahead, and there's people to becoming more effective of what's going on. My belief pattern of what I'm believing right now to be the case is, if I can find a way to get ahead of what's happening right now, that's where the beauty is going to come in. And one of the ways to get ahead is really focus on what it is you need to focus on. Part of that is starting to make a little something called progress. What I talk about in my book, and again, if you haven't got this book yet, good luck getting it. And the reason why is Amazon is selling this thing like hotcakes right now, because it wound up being one of the top 8 entrepreneurial books that you can get right now about running your life. It's averagesucks.com. You can get it on Amazon, any of the Amazons, Amazon California, Amazon Canada, Amazon California's almost all country right now, Amazon Australia, whatever it is. You can get it at any bookstore, Barnes and Nobles. Go to averagesucks.com and get the book. It is going to be a guide that is going to literally get you through what's going on. One of the challenges that people are dealing with right now is what your plan was before the pandemic, before the political takeover of your social media and your brain has occurred, before this worry, am I doing the right thing right now? Am I treating people correctly? All the different things, all before every one of those things hit, every one of you is operating your life through based on what I called an average. So I want you to go back in your minds to January right now. And I'm going to ask you a question. Were you living your life ideally the way you wanted to? I don't mean were you doing well. I don't mean were things working out. I want you to really ask yourself the question, was I living my life 100% the way that I wanted to be living in? And I'm going to give you a second to think about that. I'll let that sit in. I'm going to take a sip of my hint, and I want you to think about that for a second. Were you living your life the way that you wanted to? You can put it in the comments, put it down below. If you're on YouTube, it still works the same way. Put the comments, roll with me. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, make sure to do that. If you haven't joined the Average Sucks community, make certain to do it. I'll put it in the comments down below. But here is the part that I'm going to ask you. If you were not living your life ideally the way you wanted to, I'm going to tell you things have changed, but you're in a very, very similar circumstance. You're not where it is that you want to be. The reason I subtitled this book, Why You Don't Get What You Want and What to Do About It, it doesn't matter where you're at. Put it right here for you to see. The reason I'm going to tell you all right now why this is important and share this to anybody you care about, it doesn't matter which of the plagues are getting you, whether it's Corona, your business, your economics, your layoff, your job, your kids, your home, point blank, anytime your life is not where you want it to be, you are operating out of an average that is not the one that you want. My desire in life is to teach you how to create a new automatic for you. So think about this right now. All that this whole thing has brought to the forefront for a lot of people is that right now you've got some things that are off, whether it's your immune system, whether it's your economics, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's knowing where you stand in the world. A lot of insecurity is happening right now in the world too, because people are like, I got an opinion, but I'm scared to share it. So insecurity is showing up right now in the world, and everything, anytime there's a challenge, opportunity shows up, because I'm going to draw out the equation that all of us need to understand. It's what I call the growth equation. And you can put this in your brain permanently and tattoo this to your soul. The growth equation says this: anytime you're not where you want to be in this world, like right now, things are not working out the way you wanted to. This is where mental health comes up and becomes an issue for people. And the reason it becomes such an issue for people is because anytime you got a big challenge in the world, there's a decision you know you need to make. And the number one decision that human beings need to decide right now is, are you living the life that you truly want to live? So the second you accept that you're not where you want to be in this world, if you're watching this verse and listening to this, I'm putting a hand up right now, and the second you accept, I'm not where I want to be in this world, I'm going to first say, congratulations. You started the process. It's no different than an AA admitting that you got a problem. It's okay to have a problem. You're not where you want to be. It's okay. I'm not as happy as I want to be. It's okay. And then opportunity shows up right in front of you. Well, where do I want to be? But at the same time, insecurity shows up. And it's when you bottle up that insecurity, when you bottle up and say, I don't know what to do, when you bottle up not working on it, that's where the mental crisis kicks in. That's where the health crisis becomes an issue. Because my fear in this world, I've been dealing with this for a long time, is that it's real easy to create challenges in this world. I used to find people, I'd see them all the time, they'd come to me and go, Michael, I have an issue. I got a problem. Those of you that don't know me very well, your first time is getting introduced to me right now. My background is doing massive quick intervention work on people, whether it was abuse or trauma or challenges or negative thinking or mommy's voice in your head, or you're a golfer, or you're like a kid that wants to get a scholarship for playing a sport in a school. And you say to yourself, Michael, I'm in a slump right now and I got to get you out of a slump or whatever it is. And every time I talk to them, what they say is there's a repetitive thing that's going on inside of my head. And it's not the thought that I want inside of my brain. And I keep on thinking it over and over again. I keep on picturing it over and over again. I keep on feeling it over and over again. And it's this repetitive process that creates a new psychology for people. See, my question for you is, what is a realistic set of expectations for yourself right now? And what is a reasonable thing that you could work on? And I'm going to tell you, I can't guarantee what's going to happen in business. I'm going to tell you, you got to get your bills covered. You got to make certain you can stay in your house. You got to make sure your stuff is working the way you need to work it. But here's my question. Is there any harm in getting ahead? Is there any harm in making your life be the way you want it to be? Is there any harm with you being the positive, intelligent person in a world of chaos right now? Is there any problem with you making your life even better than it currently is? And it comes down to a little something that I covered during our call to action program. If you're not familiar with what that is, I'll put it down below. It's absolutely free for anybody that wants to take it. But I'm going to steal something directly from it. Go to calltoactiontime.com. I'm going to put it down below, and you can feel free to access that as well. It's free for anybody during anything that's going on right now. I want to share that with all of you that are watching it. And the one thing I'm going to ask you, and I want you to think about this for a second, is if you were getting watched right now by a group of people and they were watching your behavior and they were watching what you were doing with your life in this world right now, Are the actions you're taking on a regular basis, are they the ones that you want to be taking, or are they the ones that you're actually taking? So I want you to think about this for a second. And I want you to just to think about this concept right now. And the reason I want you to think about this concept for yourself is, are the actions that you're currently taking the ones that you want to be taking? And if they're not the ones that you want to be taking, what I'm going to ask you to do is to think about for yourself, if you want things to change and you want things to be different for yourself, the only way you're going to get a chance to do it is to put together new expectations for yourself. So my question for you is, what are your current expectations? I think one of the biggest reasons people have a challenge is whenever they set expectations for themselves, they're typically based on what I wish I would have. You'd say to yourself, I wish things would be different. I wish my life, if things would be the way I want it to be, then things would change. But based on your current circumstances of what's literally going on in the world at this very moment right now, what are your expectations for your life at this very given moment? So I'm going to take a couple seconds. I'm going to ask you to post them down below, and I want you to put it in the group. I'd love to see what they are. What are your current expectations for your life right now? And I want you to think about that, and how people really figure out what their expectations are is really, what do you demand of yourself on a regular basis? The big difference between what you want and what you demand from yourself are really what you're going to wind up getting in the next 30 days. So if you want the next 30 days to be a different place than they are right now, one of those questions you have to ask yourself is really, what are you going to demand of yourself to get the life that you want? And I'm going to encourage all of you to think about this right now for yourself. And one of the ways to think is, what are you going to demand of you? What are you going to demand of you in your life? Because where people get in their heads and they get stuck inside this negative thinking, the stinking thinking, the thinking that doesn't work out, is they wind up being a person that winds up creating an issue for themselves. The reason they create an issue for themselves is they wind up being somebody that says to themselves, I want more, I want different, but I don't really know what I want. You just want things to be different than they currently are. And if you want to create chaos for yourself, want the world to be different. I'll steal something that my wife always says. She got it from her mother, that anytime in life that you say to yourself that you want things to be different, you want to wind up with this: expectations minus reality equals disappointment. And I'm going to ask you to put that down below. But expectations minus reality equals disappointment. And for most people, that's what you're dealing with right now, is that you have a series of expectations that you truly desire for yourself. But because you have these expectations, you're wondering why they're not working out for you. Why am I not getting what it is that I want? And where the disappointment comes in for ourselves. And if you like that statement, give it a like, give it a love, give it a share right now. And I'm encouraging you to share this to anybody you care about. So what I've recognized, my fear and my whole issue with what's going on right now is we are getting led down a path. And the reason I say getting led down a path, I'm not going to get into political, I'm not going to get into conspiracy right now, but we as human beings put ourselves in a scenario that we should not be in. And the reason I say we put ourselves in a scenario that we shouldn't be in is that we have not learned what creates a strong emotional and mental human being. And we don't take enough time to develop this inside of our children. And we definitely don't take enough time to develop this inside of ourselves. So if you're watching and paying attention right now to what's going on, one of the things that I'm going to encourage you to do is to really think about this concept and to really think about how this concept affects each and every one of us. And my question for you is, do you have it? Okay. My question for you is to think about this, we're going to put something up on the screen so you guys can see it. My question for all of you is to think about this one very, very simple thing. How strong have you developed your mental and emotional states inside of you? What are you doing to develop those currently? What is your mental and emotional state stabilizer for yourself? I'm going to tell you, if you're home watching the media, you're home watching the news, you're home watching what's going on, you're missing the point of what's happening. What is your ability to grow these areas? Because right now, I'm going to tell you, the people that are strong are going to survive what's happening. And I don't mean strong physically. Well, you got to be strong physically also. But the people that are strong mentally and emotionally are the ones that are going to do things to develop themselves mentally and emotionally. Anytime I would see people, they'd come to my events in the past, and I can draw this out for all of you. If you're watching this live, you can see it right in front of me. I'd ask people that are feeling depressed. And it used to be that I'd run up to people and I'd be at an event, they were empowered and excited, and I said, how many of you, and pay attention to this right now, because this is critical, how many of you feel depressed on a regular basis? And they'd come up to me on stage or they'd raise their hand and I'd ask them a question. How many of you are depressed? And one person raised their hand and I go, how often are you depressed? They said, well, 5 or 6 days a week. And then I'd say to them, what makes you depressed? They said, well, I don't know. And immediately I'd watch them look down at the ground. And I'm going to tell you real quickly, anytime you're looking down at the ground, it's like looking down at yourself. I'm physically doing it right now while I'm watching this right now. You're looking down at yourself. And anytime you're looking down at yourself, instantaneously, you break. I mean, think about it. Right now, while you're listening or watching, just do this. Just look down. Instantly, your windpipe closes up. You breathe less. You know, I think it's hard to breathe with your mask on. Try to breathe while you're looking down. Also, you're looking down at yourself. Your dopamine, your norepinephrine, the chemicals inside of your brain are not flowing to the level they need. So you've got this negative thing. You're looking down. You're crushing your windpipe as you're looking down. And you're physically looking down at yourself. You know the old adage, don't look down at yourself. Like, don't look down on yourself. Well, looking down at yourself or on yourself does the same thing. It crushes you. The second thing is, I say, great, what do you think about? And they're always like, well, Michael, I keep on having a perpetual thought in your head. My question for you is, what is the perpetual thought inside of your head? And I'm noticing 3 major thoughts that are happening with people. One is denial. People are saying, this can't be happening. This is all going to go away. This can't be happening. I don't know. Another thought people are having right now is if I just lower my head and I ignore it, it's all going to go away. The third is there's a group of people that have found a way to be highly intelligent. They're looking on growing themselves past what's currently going on. And the way they grow themselves past what's going on is they're not denying what's happening. They're asking themselves to see something bigger than themselves. So I'm going to challenge all of you to think about this right now. How do you set expectations for you in a challenging time right now? In a few minutes, I'm going to open up for some questions. I'm going to ask you to put them inside of the feed. I may be able to have someone who could shout me out, some on YouTube, but if you're on Facebook right now, I want you to think of the expectations you have with your life and some of the things you're expecting from yourself right now. So one of the ways that I want people to expect, and I want you to think about this, is if you're thinking about expectations and you're thinking about things that you want to have inside of your life, one of the things that I'm going to encourage you to think about is, what are your plans down the road? And what is a realistic set of expectations for your life? Because most people right now, they're saying to themselves that their expectations for their life are, I'm going to wait for this thing to end. And I'm going to tell you, there's a small group of people that are not waiting for this to end. They're slowly growing. They're growing themselves. They're working on their body. They're working on their health. They're working on their diet. They're working on their mental. They're working on their emotion. They're taking things like call to action. They're reading every book they can. They're avoiding the media at any chance they can. They're growing their average and becoming the person that they truly, truly want to be. And those people are going to wind up a radically different person after this whole thing is over. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to put it down below and I'm going to ask all of you a question. What is your expectation? And I'm with you, Bill. I'm with you 100% with what you're posting right there. What are your expectations currently in your life for yourself right now? And if you ask yourself a question, what are your real expectations? What are the expectations you have in your life currently? The ones that you have. And my question is, let's evolve these into what you want them to be. So I got Cheryl here saying she wants to focus on her business. Great. So we're sitting here focusing on our business. But what aspect of our business? I see someone mentioning EMCC. And the reason they're mentioning EMCC is they've taken call to action. They know exactly what that means. If you haven't taken call to action, go to calltoactiontime.com. If you haven't gotten the book Average Sucks, get this, because it's about raising your average, who you are as a person. So if you're waiting for it to end, what I'm going to tell you is if you're waiting for this to end and you're wanting it to all be over, I'm going to tell you, you're going to miss it. Because remember what I said, leaders get developed. Strength gets created in times of turmoil and issues and problems. So one of your expectations is not to look for problems, is to look at the situation going, you know what I got to do? I got to find a good way to get myself to grow. I got to find a way to get myself to become more. I got to find myself to be more. So my expectation from this is I'm not only going to come out stronger. My expectations is when the weights are off, I look at this as like running up a hill. Running up a hill with 10-pound weights on both legs. It's challenging. There's issues. There's things holding you back. And I'm running up a hill. My expectation is this is challenging right now. That is my expectation, which means I might have to push a little harder than normal. My other expectation is when the weights come off, my life's going to become a lot easier than it needs to be. So what I want to do is ask you a question. What are your expectations for what's going on in your life right now? Or what challenges or questions do you currently have with what's going on that I realistically can answer? I can't make the world be positive. You can't either, nor am I willing to take that on. I know that there's a larger percentage of people open right now to inducing their bodies with a stronger immune system. There's a larger percentage of people in the world deciding that they want to be in business for themselves right now. And I'm going to do my part. I'm going to convince more people than ever that having control over their economics, having control over their life, having control over the things that they can control right now is more important than ever. I believe there's more receptive people than there ever was before. So although there's freaking chaos going around right now, I know that there is a larger percentage of receptive people that I can talk to. So my expectation is more people are going to hear me right now than ever before. So I want to think about that right now for you. What is your version of this? What is your version of this for your business and for your life right now? So I know adversity. I want you to stare at it and I want you to look it in the eyes and go, what gift do you have for me? I wrote a chapter inside of my book, the second chapter of the book. What was fascinating about this was when I originally wrote this, Corona had not hit yet. And what was interesting about it, you've heard me say this before, is the second chapter of the book was called The Death of Adversity. Now, I'd encourage you to get the book at averagesucks.com. So I'm going to post it down below, averagesucks.com. Get the book. And there's a bunch of big bonuses you're going to get for getting the book. Get the Kindle version, get a hardback thing. It's gorgeous, this book. The reason I want you to get that book immediately is it is going to teach you how to take adversity and use it and spin it to make you who it is you want to be. I've been teaching human beings for years, get this, to seek out adversity, to seek out Spartan races, to speak out things that are hard, to seek out things that are difficult, to put yourself on stages in front of people. Fortunately or unfortunately, the whole world has brought us adversity, one challenge all at once. So all of us get to grow together. I'm also going to tell you, you've got friends and family that never before were wanting to grow that know they need to right now. So my question for you is, how do we rally up the troops and all of us do this together? This is why I've been loving working with Call to Action recently, is that people are getting their friends, their family, and everything involved. So let's go to a couple of questions right now. My expectation is that I'm getting out of my own way and starting moving forwards. Who's got a question that I can get right now? Any questions surface on the board right now? Anything surface at all? Okay, so nothing posted yet. If you're watching on Facebook and you have a question that I can answer, put it down below. Say, Michael, I have a question. Type it in fast because we're still doing the show right now. I got a question and I got some things I want to cover with you, and I'm going to keep going as well. So as we see one, we'll get a hand raised over here and I'm going to get into this. So if you're liking what I'm sharing, here's a couple things you can do. Like it, share it, know what's going on, and this can help you. The other thing I was going to say to you right now is the big crisis that we know that's right around the corner, and it's massive. We've got our Corona numbers, and we've got millions of people that passed. We have hundreds of thousands of people that have gotten sick. People have died. Stuff that's happening all over the world. Not good. I'm also going to tell you the thing that's less good is that we have a world full of people that are in a world of hurt right now, that they're not able to deal with things the way they need to. And I'm going to tell you, there's one coming in. I got one coming. Here's a question that's going to be coming in here in a second. The crisis that's going to be occurring right now in the world that we're all going to be dealing with, our kids are going to be dealing with, we're going to be dealing with as well, is how do we deal with this mental issue that people are going to have, and it's bigger than ever before. So here's the question. How do I work on my plan to grow my business while recovering from COVID, which requires energy, conservation, and lots of physical rehab? Very good. Someone threw that question up there. I like that. So how do I plan to grow my business? The same way you plan to grow it before. And the reason I'm saying this is we've got to set realistic expectations. Here is the number one word. I'm going to put it down below. You can do a hashtag to this. One is hashtag average sucks. Put it down below. The other thing is we've got to set out to make something called progress. Most of us want the result. Very few people want progress. If you're healing yourself from a disease, if you're healing yourself from an economic turmoil, one of the most powerful things you can do is to make progress. Years ago, a guy came into me and he said, Michael, I have in myself chronic anxiety. They said, what am I going to do? I said, there's not a damn thing I can do for you. You got chronic anxiety. He said, what do you mean, Michael? That's negative. You can't help me? I said, no, I can't help you with chronic anxiety. But I can help you if you haven't learned how to communicate with yourself effectively yet. And what that means is something you're doing is not what you want to be doing and you'd like to be doing something different. That, my friend, I can help you with immediately right now. So here's my question. You're dealing with COVID, yes. but more importantly, your body is not where you want it to be. And currently, things are not where they want it to be. We've got to be realistic of what's happening, but we have to frame it to ourselves in a way that can work. So here's the deal. Your business has been slowed down from COVID. You've got to say, my business is not where I want it to be. You add the COVID to it. You add the shutdown. You add the quarantine to it. You mess your shit up. What I'm going to tell you to make it work for you is you got to speed it up saying, hey, listen, my business is not where I want it to be. It's the same. It wasn't where I wanted to be in January. It's still not where you want it to be. Remember, you wouldn't have called it COVID back then, but what I'm getting at is you've got to frame this thing correctly to yourself. And one of the ways you got to frame it is you know what? I've not taken care of my health in the last 90 days. I've been preoccupied. Instead of this whole lockdown thing has slowed me down. I haven't made it to the gym. You know what? My health is not where I want it to be. I've neglected my health for the last 90 days and I've missed it. If you're getting this, give me a hashtag average sucks so I'm getting it. Next question is, if you have multiple areas you want to improve and make progress, how do you prioritize health? I'll put it here. If you have multiple areas you want to improve and make progress in, how do you prioritize health, personal development, house projects without getting overwhelmed? Here's what overwhelm is. It's having a plan like that. Folks, you're never going to win working on a million things at once, but you will win making progress. One of the things that years ago that I've learned to do, and get the book averagesucks.com, it will change your average. I years ago used to take a sheet of paper and I wrote down 4 things that I wanted to work on. One was communication. One was my circle of influence. One was my money. And every time I did something little, I went to a networking event. Oh, I worked on my communication. I talked to people. I would take a pencil. So I had a big circle. I want you to imagine a circle like the size of let's just say a CD. And I would take a pencil and I'd pick a mark and I'd go every single time I would go to a networking event. I would take a pencil. I talk to people. Then I'd increase my circle of influence. Take a dot. And then I'd go, I didn't make any money there. Can't collect that one. Every time I talk to somebody, then I'd say, hey, I make a cold call. Increase my circle of influence. Click. My communication's getting better. My outcome from all those little pencil dots was to fill the whole thing in, because I know that every time you fill one of those things in, you get better. Remember, the key to not being overwhelmed is to make progress. Let me ask you a question. How many people you met that are depressed doing push-ups? They're not depressed because they're doing something. How many people have you met that are depressed in the middle of a sales presentation? They're not depressed because they're doing something. Drop to the floor, do 25 push-ups. You change the chemicals in your body, go for a run. Change the chemicals in your body, start to feel good. That's where things start to change for you. This is where things get to work in the way that you want to. So my desire for each and every one of you is to ask yourself a question. What are you doing right now to change your average? So months ago, I even say in the book, it says, hey, find things that have adversity involved. It will get you to grow. Because listen, how do you grow a muscle? Adversity. How do you grow a business? A challenge. Every great business has gotten built out of a challenge. That's where they come out of. Listen, go check Amazon stock prior to the Great Recession. Check them now. They're learning to adopt and have things go on. Next question. I feel like I have to work 2 jobs right now and it's taking a toll. How do I remove stress for myself and put my finances into proper perspectives looking at the big picture? First off, congratulations. You're a person of action. Get biblical on you. This too shall pass. You know this as much as I do. You're working 2 jobs because you're intelligent. You work 1, you may pay the bills. You work 2, you start to be intelligent. So how do I remove my stress right now? One of the ways you remove your stress right now is stop thinking you have to solve this immediately. Let's go back to January. Were you thinking you had to solve your problem immediately? No, it just got brought to your attention. Folks, this all just got brought to our attention. Do we have a new mental health crisis? Or we had people prior to this that weren't as strong as they needed to be? Listen, any business in the world that got knocked over by 2 weeks at the beginning of COVID, they were not as strong as they needed to be. You need to own that. I'm not being negative, and you know this to be true, and I know this to be true. Anybody like thinking to themselves, oh my God, I'm 50 pounds overweight, I need to worry about this thing. Shouldn't have been 50 pounds overweight to start with. You know this, and if you don't like me saying that, oh well, deal with it. It's the truth, and you know it's the truth of what's going on. So the big question that I got to say is, how do you put your finances in proper perspective? They weren't in the where you needed them to be to start with. So here's the deal. They're not where they need to be. The question is, there's 3 modes to this. Survival, getting by, and getting ahead. And you've got to ask yourself, which game do you want to play? But if you're treating your life as get ahead, but you're acting like survival. This is where most people get it all screwed up. They want to get ahead while they're in survival mode. They're sitting on the couch. So which are you living and which are you wanting? Survival, getting by. There's two different things. You got to understand that. And getting ahead. There's what you want and there's what you do. I keep on meeting people that are in survival mode and they want to get ahead. You know what that creates? Mental breakdown. Your body's like, what the hell are they doing? I don't get it. They want one thing, they're doing another. It creates confusion for people. So which is it that you want? Do you want to be a survival person that gets ahead? You've got to figure that out. Which is it for yourself? So put that in the comments. Survival, getting by, getting ahead. Which are you living and which do you want? Now, if you went to my event prior to all this going on, you'd be doing the same thing. I'm a human being getting by, but I want to be a millionaire. I'm getting by and I want to be a billionaire. I want six-pack abs. I want a great body. You're getting by and you want something different. The results are very different for someone like you. What are you looking for? This is the questions you got to ask yourself. Okay, next question. I thought I was doing okay. Then COVID hit and I got caught off guard and I took a huge setback. It caused an identity crisis for myself. I'm not as cool as I thought I was and I'm left in the rubble. How do I shake off the negative thoughts and go back to the feeling, thoughts and go back to the feelings of feeling good again? Here's the deal. False bravado will get you through the day. And the challenge was, most of us can be really cool. You can write this down. It's easy and safe when everything's easy and safe. At a lot of our events, I tell people that the real event is not the seminar. When you go to a seminar, and while you're there at a baseball game, or you're at a football game where you're with your fans and your people, it's safe. You're with your crowd and it's easy. And when you're protected by everything's going well, there's nothing negative about it. Everything's going well, you're feeling well, everything's going good, and things are going really, really wonderful in your life. False bravado, what that means is that you're playing the part of a person that's acting like things are going better than they currently do. It's their fake ID. I remember when I was a kid, I had a fake ID. I walk in a bar with a fake ID. I talk about it in my book. You should definitely get Average Sucks. And the reason why, it's a really cool story. I'd walk in, I was the man. I had a whole backstory of a kid that was 2 years older and all kinds of stuff. I'm a junior in college, not a freshman, my fake ID. You've probably had one too. You know what I'm talking about. For most people, a fake ID for themselves is their fake identity that they're running. So when this person said to themselves, how do I start feeling again? You got to get realistic with what your real identity is, who you are as a person right now. Here's the deal. Are you a person that got knocked over and you're going to figure it out? Or are you a person trying to get back to who you used to be? You want pain in this world? I got a really cool video on YouTube. See if we can find that video on YouTube. I'll post it down below. It's amazing on how to go back in time. Okay, I think it's called like Time Machine or something. If you could find that video, we'll post it down below. It's incredible. And what happens is I'll meet people and they'll say to me, but Michael, you don't get it, man. In 2008 and 9, I was killing it. In 08 and 07, 05, I was killing it in real estate. Folks, everybody was killing it. The folks that made it through the hardship are the ones that build the real identity. So here's my question. Do you want the identity of cool and flowing no matter what? Things are good, everything's great through the easy time? Or do you want to be the person that got through? See, I realized when this thing hit, I had to switch my identity. My identity was, life was pretty easy. We were rolling. Things were good. I didn't have to do anything. I changed my identity when this whole thing started. I was built for this. I was built for what's going on. My question for you is, are you built for this or not? And if you're not built for this, well, you're walking right into the challenge. Are you built for what's going on? How do you know you're built for it? You're here and you're standing, you're breathing, and you're watching this, having the courage to watch what you're watching right now. If you're a person that wants to grow, you've got to ask yourself, what's your identity? See, I identify with myself and how I identify with this challenge that's going on. It's not what I asked for. It's not what I wanted. This too shall pass. I will get through it. I will find a way. Other people are identifying as a victim. And if you identify as a victim, victims have challenges and they have issues that go on in their lives. Okay, this is the part that I want to get all of you to recognize. And this is the part that I want to get everyone to understand here right now, is that where the mental challenges going to come into the world is, we've got a lot of people watching media they shouldn't be watching. We've got to do our part. We've got to change the feed. And how do you change the feed? Stop passing it, man. Stop passing this stuff on people. Stop adding to the problem. Stop doing it. I got to stop myself too. Even if you think you're being positive, you're missing it. Recommend books that impact people. Read it, get a couple, get a few people out of a funk. Get 5 copies, get 3 copies, get 2 copies. Read one right away. Go to averagesucks.com, even bribing you with 8 extra audios that you can use as well. The big part of this and why it's important is we've got to really understand that there's not just a feed on Facebook, not just a feed on Instagram. There's one going on inside of your head. And there's a loop that all of us are dealing with. And what that loop is really asking yourself, what is the thought that you have most often inside of your head? You wake up every morning, and what is it you think of? My thought every morning is very simple. And I use something called a must board. I used to physically write this down at night, but here's one of the things that I do to really set my expectations for myself. And one of the things, I'm cool, but up on stage while being watched in general, maybe not feel so cool. I got it. Well, you've got to figure that out. Who put this down here? Someone said not feeling so cool up on stage. Okay, well, you got to figure that out for yourself. That's a feeling inside of your body. I'm going to show you how to do this right now. And I'm going to give you a mindset shift that's going to make a difference. So we change our lives, and you can do it while you're sleeping. See, I used to do this online that before I went to bed, I used to do something called a must board. And I used to write down, like, see, a lot of people, they set goals for themselves, and they do it like 6 months, a year out. Folks, I don't like that. And the reason why is you don't know what's going to happen 6 months, a year from now. I like to set like tomorrow. So I go to bed, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I used to physically write it on a little bamboo board before I'd go to bed. Now I write things down like plan for tomorrow. And think about that for a second. Shouldn't you set goals that you know you can hit? How confident do you become as a human being when you start hitting almost everything that you want? You hit targets, you feel good. Success is an emotion that we need to attract. So we attract it by the person we become. So for me, one of the things that I would do is I'd set a goal like wake up with energy. Well, if you don't wake up with energy, maybe you get a cup of coffee, you do something, you get energy somehow. Wake up with energy. Number 2, find at least one person to help today. 3, make an impact in the world. These are 3 things that I do. I write them on a board. What's funny is I hit most of those by 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I got the rest of the day to do whatever I want. Shouldn't you set outcomes that on a regular basis you can hit? It isn't about sales. It isn't about money. It isn't about those stuff. It's about you growing as a human being. When your confidence grows up, when your average grows, things start to change. So if you're in for a must board, I'm going to encourage you to do it. Must stands for this. Write this down. Makes you stronger today. M-U for you. Makes you stronger today. And what a must board is about, it's something you must do in your day. So one of the things I use is I must find ways to have energy. I must find ways to help people. I must reach out to people in the world. And when you do that, it builds your confidence. And as your confidence goes up, you could find a way to dominate through anything out there in the world. So if you're not feeling so cool when you're out there in front of people and you're feeling real cool when you before, you got to ask yourself a question. Were you playing the part? And if you were playing a part, time to get honest of what's going on. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things you can do right now is you don't want to talk about, hey, all your problems and your challenges out there with the real world. But you got to recognize we've got to do our part for what's going on. No. Very good. So who's got must board? Mind blowing. I'm not sure who said that, but bam, Facebook user said must board, mind blowing. And the reason it's mind blowing is they know the difference. It's going to change what your average is. I got time for one more question, then I got some final thoughts. If you're enjoying this, give it a like, love. Find that share button. I'm going to post down one more time, putting this on the fan page, how to access a copy of this from my fan page. They're going to share it right down below. So you can share this on your wall. You can cut and paste what Team Bernoff or is going to post, or right down below, they're going to post this so you can share this with people you care about. I got time for one more question from anybody that wants to give me a question on anything. And I'll take that right now. I'll take one more question. I really appreciate you guys enjoying this. If you are, give me a like, give me a love, give me a feedback. Let me know that you're enjoying this right now. And then I got one more last thing to tell you. We are headed into a challenge that we need to arm ourselves for in a big, big way. And the reason we've got to arm ourselves for this is we've got to make sure we're mentally strong with what's going on. If you're watching this, one of the ways we've got to realize that we all got to do our part. We decided in our company, one of the ways that we did our part was we decided to let as many people as we can use our services and help them out in any way that we could. We've been giving away call to action every couple of weeks to anybody out there, and I believe we've got a website here that I can give you guys access to that as well, calltoactiontime.com, and I'll put it down below and I'll put it up on the board. If someone could type that in, I'll be able to click that as well, and I'll be able to post that for you guys. And if you go to calltoactiontime.com, you got a chance to take our call to action program absolutely free. And I got it up as well. Corbin was nice enough to post that for us, so I posted it. Thank you, Corbin, for posting that for us as well. So I've got that up on the screen. The one part that I'm going to tell all of you, and this is a big piece of the puzzle, if you want to get where you want to go, I'm going to ask you to get your goals out, but I'm also going to ask you to get your Sharpie out. And the reason I'm going to ask you to get your Sharpie out And the reason I'm going to ask you to get that is most of us need to get our Sharpies out because we got to cross some things out. We've got to get ourselves to grow, but we've also got to get our Sharpies out. And what I mean by that is maybe we've got to cross off some things in our lives that we thought were important to us, and we got to focus on what's going on right now. So a lot of times the problem happens in life when there's a life that you wanted and there's a life that you're living. And a lot of us are still thinking it's January, folks. It's not. I don't know what day you're listening to this, but it's not January anymore. January's over with. And if you want to guarantee you're frustrated, be in January still. It makes you delusional. You deserve a crisis in your life if you want it to be January again. You're living in the past. So what I'm going to tell all of you to think about right now, if you want things to change for you, we got to get out of the past and we got to get not into the present, not even to the future. We got to get at least one step ahead. And what I mean by one step ahead is I'm going to share a little story with you that's going to make the biggest difference in your life. And it's a secret to everything that you want in this world. And it's a story that I heard years ago about a guy that went to a Chinese restaurant. He went to a Chinese restaurant with his family, and his kid was dealing with a challenge. He was getting bullied at school. He was getting picked on. He wanted to do better in school, and he switched schools a couple of times, and he was getting picked on a regular basis. Life wasn't working on for what he wanted to. He heard all these things he needed to do, but for some reason, everything his parents told him were not happening to the speed that he wanted to. Things were not working out what he wanted to. So the guy gives him a fortune cookie, and he goes, I want you to take this home with you, but do not open it until you're ready. Well, this boy was smart, like all of you are. So he turned around and asked a question to the man working at the Chinese restaurant. He says, how do I know when I'm ready? Well, here's how you know when you're ready. When you're actually doing anything, doing something, generating some momentum. If you're sitting there, odds are you're not ready. So when you're moving and you're taking any activity you have and you're moving in any direction, then you open it. Well, day in, day out, the kid felt like he was picked on. Things were not working out the way he wanted to. He was feeling depressed and down. Well, one day he decided to open up a book that somebody gave him. It was a book on building confidence. It was a book on something that was going on, similar stuff that I would share inside of the Call to Action program. So he started feeling good about himself for a couple seconds. He'd get picked on, but he knew that this is what they expected. He started to feel a little bit of confidence, a little bit, still getting picked on, still things weren't where he wanted it to be. And at one point, he realized, he goes, is this what he meant by momentum? Well, that night they went to the Chinese restaurant. When he was there, the man asked a question. Are you generating momentum in your life? The boy said, how do I know when I'm generating momentum? Have you done what you wanted to more than once? He says, yes, I've done what I wanted to for the last several days. He goes, the cookie's ready whenever you feel that you're ready. So he went home that night, but he had fear of opening it. And the reason he had fear of opening it, because he knows, what if it doesn't work? This is the thing, a lot of times people come to me, they say, what if what you teach Michael doesn't work? My question for you is, what if it does work? What if it does make things work out? You are in control of the narrative. You're in control of the question. And then a lot of us ask ourselves the question of, is now the right time? And my answer for you is, it is always the right time, because it's always now. And now is always what it is. And you've got to decide what you want to do. And this kid wrestled with this for days. Do I open it? What do I do? And finally got to a point where he took the cookie out of the wrapper. And he had that hesitation like we all have in our lives. Like, what if it works? What if it doesn't work? And also, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? And he thought about that question for himself, and he cracked open the cookie and he took a bite, and he was scared to look at the piece of paper. And he finally opens up the piece of paper inside the fortune cookie, and he looks at it and he's like, is this really going to work? And he said, the secret to happiness, the fortune cookie said, flip me over. And he flipped it over. And it said, put your right foot in front of your left and keep on repeating. And this is what most people don't do in life. They're not moving forward. Anybody who's challenged right now, they're moving backwards. And the reason they're moving backwards is they don't understand what the last question I got was. How do you help someone that's convinced they have a mental health issue when they're fine before, and you can see that they're doing anything when they were fine before, and you can see that they are doing anything that seems it's just situational. Well, here's how you help someone that's convinced they have a mental health issue right now. Anybody who's sitting still right now, they've got a choice. Our job is watching this right now is not to solve all of their problems. One of the things we've got to recognize is people are going to have challenges they're not moving. One of the fastest ways you can help somebody is to get them moving, get them going, doing something. Sitting still people are going to be negative. Getting them off their devices as much as you can. This is stuff that's going to make it possible to shift. But it's the last part of this question that's the most important of all. When they were fine before and you can see that they are not doing anything and it seems just situational, there is a large percentage of people right now in the world, a large percentage of people that are using this as an excuse. Using this as an excuse to stay where they're at, to hide from what they're capable of doing. See, when a challenge shows up in life, anytime, and this is a big one right now we're dealing with in this world, one of two things occur. I talk about it in my book. This should be called The Ultimate Guide, How to Get Through Anything You Want in Your Life, How to Stop Yourself from Playing Small. That's what this book should be called. And the one thing it says in the book, that everything in your life will either confirm who you are or change you. And what's amazing about that is a lot of people get confirmation that right now they're sitting still, right now in their life, and it confirms who they are. You're a stuck person, and that's who you are. Or it'll change you and you'll become the person that you want to be. All situations in life will either confirm who you are or change you one way or another. Remember, you navigate that change. You decide what you want to do. That's the real talk that starts in your life. Someone mentioned real talk. And that is the truth. And I want you to know that whether it was Corona, whether it was dealing with expectations around your business, a political nightmare we're dealing with, a large percentage of people, not all, are using this as an excuse in their life to not live up to their full potential. And I want you to think about that right now. And if that's you, cut the crap. Stop it. It's not fair. People need you right now more than ever. There's a world full of people that need you. You cannot do that. If you're smart enough to watch this, someone shared this with you. We need strong people right now. You are not allowed to do that right now. This is not your time. I realized when I became a parent, I realized it is a parent that I have responsibility that I never had before. We've got a responsibility to the human race right now. And here's what it is. You don't like what you see. People are all saying, what am I going to do right now? How do I do my part? Stop trying to solve all the world's problems and start changing the feed inside of your brain. Start taking responsibility. And one of the responsibilities is stop taking it all on. You want to lose, you want a mental issue, take it all on. Take it all on. Take on solving it all. Solve the political issues. Solve COVID. Solve the immune issues. Solve the economy. You will jack yourself like you wouldn't believe negatively, and you just gonna have an issue. You're gonna have an issue for the rest of your freaking life. You're gonna mess yourself up. Or control what you can. When this whole first thing hit, I talked to people about crisis management. And crisis management says a few things. One is accept what's going on. Number 2, manage up the things you can handle. 3, make a plan. And 4, activate the plan. You've got to take responsibility right now over the things that you can be responsible for. And here's the things you can be responsible for. Finding ways to make progress and get ahead. And finding a way to not to take it all on. Right now, the world wants you to do one of 2 things. Sit down, take a nap, or take it all on. Neither of them are an option. Here's what you got to take on. Your true identity. Who you are as a person. Think about right now, you're getting the phone call. You're a superhero. You've always been one. You've known you've been one your whole life. You've known there's something powerful inside you your entire life. But there is no Superman without a bad guy. There is no Wonder Woman without bad things happening in the world. There's no He-Man unless there's bad people. There's no Voltron, which was like my hero when I was a kid. Unless there's bad people, the lions never form. You've got to decide that right now, the call's coming in. Are you going to accept the call? And here's the call. Are you going to grow into who you're capable of being? If everyone in the world grew into who they were capable of being, crime goes down, issues go away, people's lives get better. Right now, this is the year of growth. And when 2020 is over, I can guarantee you there'll be problems and issues, but there'll be more growth than you can ever imagine for the people that chose to do it. And then there's people that weren't strong enough. We're going to have to help them later. So we've got to get stronger now to make it happen. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're liking this, I'm going to give you a couple of recommendations. Give it a like, give it a love immediately. Number 2, if you have not signed up for Call to Action, sign up immediately. Sign up. You need the equipment. You need the skills. You need the tools. I want to arm you with the greatest mental and emotional confidence tools in the world that you can have. Calltoactiontime.com. Enroll immediately. Number 2, if you don't have, go to averagesucks.com, get my book, go to Barnes & Nobles, go to Amazon, buy it immediately. It's $8-9. And it's the easiest book to read in the world. It's written by a guy with ADD for the world to read it quickly, to get through, and to get yourself to grow. I have people that have read it 3 times. It's been out 3 weeks. People have read it 3 times. It's going to get you to grow. And also, if you haven't, check out our community. Go to michaelbernoff.com/community immediately. Click the link. I will post it down below. Go to the community, join the Average Sucks community, and share good things. This deserves to be on your wall. Give it a hashtag Average Sucks. Give it a hashtag truth. Check us out online. I'm excited to work with you guys. That's it, man. That's all I got to say. If you enjoyed this, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a share. Thank you very much for your time. I'm excited to work more with you guys. But remember, leaders get developed during adversity. And guess what? We got a friggin' adversity. What are you going to do? I'll leave you with that. Well, thanks for joining us for the Average Sucks show. And the big question people ask is like, Michael, what is next? And the answer is simple. Get Average Sucks, my brand new book. And the reason why I want you to have this is if there's things you want in your life and for some reason you've said to yourself, why am I holding back? Why am I not getting what I want? I know I'm capable of more. This book answers all of that and more. So go to averagesucks.com. Check out all the other stuff on the page. Got a bunch of bonuses for you. Get the book, read the book, and most importantly, follow the instructions. They're very simple. You'll finish this little book in a couple hours. Real easy to read, and it's going to start showing you how to get more of what you want in this world. So averagesucks.com, and catch us on the next Average Sucks show.